Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Today is December 27th, 2019. Had you fooled there for a minute. All right, let's take a look at some space weather. Solar winds coming in at 364.7 kilometers per second with a density of 4.6. Take a look at our sunspot to report. Yes, that's right. It's almost Earth facing as we speak. That is AR 2753. AR 2754 did fizzle out. That was the sunspot in the western part of the sun's limb. Actually, if you look to your right and to the north, that is where AR 2754 is decayed. But AR 2753 is strong right now. We have 4 days left in 2019. And yes, Spike 12, I saw your prediction of 277. So there. Also, me and you have something in common, as I have also picked that number. The chances of that happening, I thought last week when we got the sunspot, or not last week, a couple days ago, I thought, well, we got 6-7 days left in the year. No way possible that this sunspot survives. So we will continue to monitor this as sunspot number AR 2753 looks strong. It is sunspot number 11, so it's a very small, weak sunspot. Nothing to get crazy about here. Definitely a solar minimum type sunspot, but nonetheless, does not look like it's going anywhere just yet. And we do have a few more days left in the year, so we'll continue to watch, see what happens. Our TCI is at 2.93. That is the lowest we've seen in quite some time. Remember, our record was set back in February of 2009. That came in at 2.05. So not that far away from the space age record of TCI being the coldest on record. All right, let's jump over to the grandsolarminimum.com here, where we can check out some other space weather stuff. Look at our KP indices over the last several days. Since Christmas, it's almost been non-existent. Geomagnetic activity as well. Solar proton flux, nothing. I mean, this is classic solar minimum situation. Look at this. Earth is about to be all by itself completely. And what I mean by this, guys, we're looking at this imaginary line that goes across from here to here, okay? And I do believe that's Mars, but it is turning this way as well. So Earth basically has all this space out here. No other. So my point of this is that the magnetic connection from the sun to the Earth is going to be even weaker when you're just the only planet in this section. The rest of the planets are clustered back here on the other side. There, the green indicates how strong the magnetic connection is for these planets on the other side. But this is going to be an interesting winter and spring, folks. So stay tuned. But as we look at the rest of our star for the next several days, we don't see any other new sunspots that are possible on the horizon. So it's just this AR 2753 that's decided to be a little pesky. So we'll continue to watch it, see how many more days it sticks around. Does the prediction of 277 stand by Spike 12 and myself? I don't know. We'll see. Take a look at some weather across the pond here in the UK. Wow. So, yeah. Scotland getting the brunt of this. Right now, we got a break for much of England, London. Everyone's dry. Ireland, there's some light showers on your west coast. But other than that, it's pretty quiet today, and they could use that. Let's see what the floods say. Yeah, big time different. Flood alerts are down to 89. We did have over 100 at one point. Flood warnings are at 30, and severe flood warnings are at 0. So things are starting to quiet down just a little bit. Let's take a look at our forecast, though, over in the UK. Bear with me, folks. Let's go ahead and just put this on. I'll put it on play for you while we read the forecast here. Take a look at the futurecast. This is the Euro model here. And what does our forecast for this afternoon moving forward say? Residual light rain and drizzle in the south should ease, but many parts staying cloudy. Just a few areas that will see some sun. Further north, windier conditions will bring further spells of rain, especially northwest Scotland, mild in the west and the north. Tonight, many parts staying cloudy and frost-free, although here and there sufficient breaks to allow grass frost and fog. Further rain affecting some northern areas, especially west of northwest Scotland. And then by Saturday, a little change overall. Further rain, perhaps heavy in the northwest Britain. Elsewhere, largely dry with a lot of clouds, but some areas of sun. Mild, perhaps very mild, in the Lee shelter. So, keeping an eye on the UK weather. I had folks tell me the other day that they typically don't see snow until January, so this isn't too out of the ordinary. But I know that the biggest question you get all the time, well, we're in grand solar minimum. Where's the winter? Where's the cold? Again, folks, it doesn't work that way. The grand solar minimum is a period of time of low solar activity. And yes, there are maxes that happen in between solar cycles. You can go back and look at the Dalton minimum. I'm surprised compared to the Maunder minimum. I'm surprised the Dalton minimum is even named. But there are weak solar maximums. So the sun will start showing sunspots again. But this time around, when you look at the max, it will not be anything near like what we saw in 2014 through 16. Nothing. It will not be the same sun. Yeah, it'll switch on for a little bit, but it'll quickly go back to minimum phase. And the next minimum coming up with the amplitude predicted to be less this next coming solar cycle, on top of this one already being a third weaker than the last solar cycle we just got out of. Folks, it's just going to get deeper and deeper. So whatever normal weather you get from here on out, enjoy it. Embrace it. Because it's not going to be that way for very much longer. And GSM is regional. I've always said that, and I'll continue to stick with that. There are other cycles out there. Milankovitch is one of them that could lead our planet into such things as an ice age. But I just want to be clear that people understand that grand solar minimum does not cause the ice ages. Yes, the Maunder minimum was nicknamed the Little Ice Age because how cold it got for a long period of time. People thought we were going into an ice age. Obviously, things went back to normal, and hence that's where the little came from in the nickname Little Ice Age. So, all right, that's enough GSM education for now. We'll get to that more tonight in our live update, our full 1-hour program. Let's take a look at the radar here in the States. Northeast is experiencing some rain showers right now. Other than that, it's kind of quiet. Some snow across the upper Midwest. Southwest getting some rain and snow. Finally, the Southern California, man, I'll tell you what, severe weather. Overnight Wednesday into Thursday, we had tornado warnings near Santa Barbara. And unfortunately, I haven't heard a word about this from mainstream weather channels or anything like that. It's not on their websites, nothing. I guess that's just normal in December that we get severe weather in Southern California. I don't know. Let's take a look at our freezing temperatures. Well, we are on what Joe Bastardi says, the ridge and fridge. Right now we're on the ridge here in the East Coast, and you can clearly see that on the map. Here's the ridge. Here's the fridge. And we have more cold air coming in this way too. Stay tuned, folks. Just because we're experiencing some milder weather doesn't mean the weather forecast is off. In like a lamb, out like a lion. We still have January, February, and March to deal with. Take a look at our watches and warnings right now. Across the Midwest, Nebraska, the majority of you are in a winter storm warning. There's a big storm heading your way, and it could create a lot of problems. Weather advisories across Arizona, New Mexico, some storm warnings in New Mexico, parts of Colorado. But once again, we're looking for a winter storm warning across most parts of Nebraska. The northwestern corner of Kansas could be in a winter weather advisory, and majority of Maine, you are under a winter weather advisory as we are sending all that rain and ice that we have right now to you. So again, not a big deal. The roads are not that slick, and now everything's changed to rain here in the Northeast for the most part. So, and another thing too we got going good for us is that this weather system, usually this would be a school day for some kids. Thankfully, we're on winter break. So this weather, hopefully if you don't have to go out anywhere, you can stay home and avoid having to fight the traffic with this stuff. Minimum temperatures, you guys can see the ridge and the fridge, right? There's the ridge, there's the fridge. It is pushing towards the East Coast, the colder air. It won't stay mild for very much longer. Take a look at this forecast map. Pretty much wherever you live in the United States, expect some kind of weather, be it rain or frozen rain or snow. Heavy snow for parts of Colorado, New Mexico. And this is tomorrow. That storm across the Midwest really gets cranking here. Heavy snow for South Dakota and Nebraska. Freezing rain for Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, and parts of Nebraska as well. Matt, heads up, not really in your area yet, but you have the possibility to see some frozen precip. And then just plain old snow for the northern plains. And then by the time we get to Sunday, December 29th, we see all that snow and ice staying in the upper Midwest, showers and storms in the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and the Deep South. More freezing rain for upstate New York, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine by Sunday going into Monday. And actually Monday, we have a chance to see some snow here in the Northeast after this storm that we're looking at right now. The low pressure, once this thing moves offshore right here, as it continues to move out, it's going to rotate out. The back end of this, as you see, we've got two cold fronts. It's going to bring colder air, and snow will be in the forecast for Monday up here in the Northeast. And we're talking right now, it looks like 1 to 3 inches, but there is a chance that this thing could get a little bit more hectic, and we could see 3 to 6. So let's take a look at the GFS run right now. Here's that storm forming across the Midwest states into the upper Midwest. And you see on the front edge of this, a lot of rain. Indiana, Illinois, and Ohio. No snow for you guys, but tons of rain through Cincinnati, Dayton, and Columbus. Also parts of Bowling Green, Kentucky, Louisville, and in northern Tennessee near Nashville, and other places like Murfreesboro and Deckard, Winchester. You could see some heavy rain as well moving through the day on Sunday into Monday. Now, this? Yeah, well, you know, it's boring down there. Nothing's going on down there.
Florida's not boring.
I'm just kidding.
Everyone loves
I'm
Florida.
just kidding. I love Florida too. I'm jealous. Anyway, so this is Monday before New Year's Eve, and boy, what a mess we have coming here into the Northeast. By Tuesday, December 31st, that storm, New Year's Eve, moving out, but this rain changes to snow. And right now, lake effect going into Wednesday, into Thursday. Stay tuned. Again, this is the 06. If you look at the 18Z from last night, it shows a little bit more precipitation here from the storm. Wow. Yeah. So we got to watch this upcoming storm right before the new year. We could see anywhere from 3 to 6 inches in the Northeast. Maine, definitely going to see that for sure in the upper parts of the Northeast. And then back, if you look at the map, guys, I mean, classic pattern here. Everything's falling down this trough and then coming back out here. Some of it's even staying up north and coming out. And as we move forward here, we get plenty of Now, I'm going to say this too. If you live in the upper Midwest and the Northeast, you're going to experience a lot more winter than the rest of the United States. And again, this is what I was talking about, GSM regional effects. You know, just because it's warm in one state and cold in another doesn't mean it offsets everything that we've been talking about. So, moving forward to January 3rd, light snow across the area, Burr Clipper moving across the upper Midwest, affecting the Northeast by the 5th. And lots of snow to come our way, especially if you live around the Great Lakes, guys. It looks like the GFS is indicating some lake effect snows for Michigan, New York, PA, and of course Cleveland, Ohio, as we get into January 7th. More snow across the northern plains, and this looks like a doozy. By January 9th, finally, some winter for you folks out there in Ohio and Indiana. Some freezing rain and ice also possible with this particular system. But this one looks like it's going to pack a punch right into the Northeast. And if I'm not mistaken, temperatures will keep this cold where this will be an all snow event. By January 11th, that system races off. But winter is returning. And as you can see here, the colder temperatures also will be filtering back into the lower 48. I mean, this is what we're looking at January 11th. You see here some dark purple here. That is the Arctic air that I've been expecting. Now, I do believe still that we will see even colder air affecting much of the country by the second week of January. And right now, GFS is already showing that once we get rid of this last ridge and fridge here, and I'm stealing that from SUBSCIBESTAR because that's clever. Here's our ridge, there's our fridge, and this is going to move through, and that colder air from the Arctic is what's forcing this warmer air to kind of retreat to the south. And boy, look at this. This is predicted for Monday, January 6th. negative 27 in parts of Minnesota, North Dakota. Some super, super cold air coming in. And those are high temperatures, folks. So we could be dealing with some of the coldest air over a multiple day period of time for Minnesota, North Dakota, and Wisconsin before finally that lifts up a little bit, but still very, very frigid. And then January 10th, one more ridge and fridge. But this ridge is nowhere near as warm as what we've seen right now. This gets pushed out of here by the 11th. And by almost mid-month, you can see where I was talking about that cold Arctic air that will be here by the second week of January. Well, here it is. This will be the second blast for the upper Midwest and the northern plains by January 11th. So for those of you who thought winter might have been canceled, hang on to your hats, buckle up. We still have January, February, and March, and I'm going to go out and say April to deal with as far as winter weather conditions, which is bad news for our farmers once again, especially if they're out there in North Dakota and they're waiting until February to go out there and finish their harvest because of the moisture content. The crops will be drier. But right now, we're not seeing much cooperation from Mother Nature. All right, that's going to do it for me today, guys. Or we'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for a full 1-hour report on the Grand Solar Minimum news and headlines around the world. We hope everyone has a great day. And until then, we will talk soon. Take care, guys.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.